Hey, what's up everybody? It's Jack. Welcome back. And check out this guy's stats right here, as you can see in the very beginning of this video. Uh, yeah, this guy's got a higher KD, higher score per minute. And this is the end of one of the games that I was playing against him. And that's pretty much the end result right here. And this next one right here that you see in front of you is kind of a spoiler alert for one of the videos that you'll end up seeing. He was on my team. It was one of the first games. And this game that you're watching right now, this gameplay of this video, is where he is on the opposite team. And I think I get the first kill on him right here. And basically with this guy, let's see, there were two games where he was on my team. One of the scores that you saw at the end of the little clip at the beginning of this video, which is actually going to be a video for one of the future gameplays, because it was a really good gameplay, so I saved that one and I was recording. And the other one was actually the first game I played where I was against him, and this is the next game. And somewhere along the line of this video, he ends up quitting in the middle of the match. So I was playing with this guy in my lobby. I would say I think it was 2 games where he was on my team, and then 3 games total where he was on the opposite team. And basically, I am not making this video at all to show off or to make fun of this guy or whatnot, because he's got higher stats than me and he should have whooped my ass or anything like that. No, that's not it at all. That's not what I'm about. That's not what this channel is about. But I wanted to make this kind of video for a long time, simply because of the fact that I just wanted to make a video of my own proving that KD ratio, the number, the stat, the KD stat, really does not mean anything. It really is about it's basically the person versus the other person. Basically, the person that stands out and the person that is able to tackle any situation at any given time is the one that ends up usually being the better player. And no stat can basically indicate on whether or not a person's a good player. Now, there are people out there that with really low stats that are really great, and there are people out there that have really high stats that are really not so great. It's just on how there's so many different factors that go into it. You know, do you play on a full team a lot? Do you camp a lot? I mean, even camping itself can still get you a high score per minute. That's why score per minute isn't the end all be all stat, so to speak. And neither is KD. There are so many things that go into it, and the thing is, one of the things that I've noticed is people that play solo the majority of the time, if not all the time, are the ones that end up standing out, simply because, whether it's because of the scrub-based matchmaking in this game, or whether it's because of anything that could literally happen in this game, because it is Call of Duty and anything can and will happen. It's basically, you're kind of just throwing yourself out there, basically, and seeing what you can do when it comes to whatever is being thrown at you. And whenever you guys see a lobby to where somebody has a higher KD ratio, it could be way higher than yours, do not let that scare you out of the lobby. And one of the things that I want to say, that what I truly think separates a great player from a not so great player, is a great player is not going to leave the lobby in the middle of a game where it's decently competitive, even though in this game it doesn't seem that way. But they're not going to leave the lobby in the middle of the game. They're always going to try and fight back and try and make the difference. And as you guys just saw, oh my gosh, that was an epic fail on the Wraith. I had my sticks still up, and I'm actually using my paddles to activate the Wraith, which is not always a good idea. But what was I saying? Basically, when it comes down to it, the better player is the one that is confident in his or herself, and that will go out there, and regardless of the result and regardless of what happens, they are going to do their best to try to get the victory for their team. And I know that to a lot of people out there, that means, you know, getting a full team going and doing whatever it is that you have to do to win, in terms of, you know, even if that means playing douchey. But in that sense, that doesn't fully count in terms of this video, simply because of the fact that we're talking individual players here. We're not talking about teams necessarily. But if you do see a team full of people, my recommendation is, I know obviously if you're a casual and if you just play pubs, whether you're good or not, the thing is, I know a lot of times we don't want to go full sweaty try hard all the time. But let's admit it, those of us that are pretty decent at this game, that do pretty well by ourselves without a full team or whatnot, we're kind of slightly sweaty tryhard by default, so to speak. But with that being said, I know that we don't want to always do that, and sometimes when we see a full party full of stacked players, that we just want to leave because we don't necessarily want to, you know, go sweaty all the time or full on sweaty, so to speak. But my thing is, stay in there, because it's the only way you can get better is by facing the opposition. I mean, if you're playing solo all the time, you're facing the opposition pretty much all the time solo. And I know that most of the players aren't that good, and a good player will always manage to do better or take advantage of the situation, no doubt about it. But the thing is that when you run up against resistance, because it does happen as well, regardless, you know, you're gonna run into good players out there as well. When that happens, don't leave. I mean, or even people with high stats, don't leave. I mean, you really can't tell by stats if somebody's good or not. You can only tell by what happens in the game. I will admit, truthfully, that there have been people out there that way lower stats than me that have definitely given me not only a run for my money, but have beaten me pretty well. There are other people out there with higher stats than me that I have beaten very well as well. And the thing is, there are other people, and it goes the opposite way too. There are people out there that have really high stats that are incredibly good players, but how many of those do you actually run into? I personally have not run into a lot, and truth be told, every single one that I have run into, which is only a handful, in the last 4 years or 5 years that I played Call of Duty, there's only a handful of people on my list, on my friends list that I have, that are really good players and that have high stats. And that's only like 5 people in a total of 5 years. So, and the thing is, when they're really good, and the thing is, most of them are going to be friendly, and they're going to, you know, they're going to want to be your friend. They're going to add you because of the way you play and the way you perform, and that you try to be legit by rushing around and everything. I'm not trying to start any wars, but my opinion stands that camping is not the legitimate way to play. You have all these abilities, so you might as well move. And it's much more fun to watch, it's much more impressive to see, and it's much more challenging as well in terms of being on target and all these different things. But the gist of this video is basically just trying to tell you guys that never ever be scared of stats. Never ever be scared of a high KD or a high score per minute or a high win-loss. Don't ever let that get to you, because ultimately it is just numbers. And the thing is, there are very few percentage out there, very low percentage of people out there where they're actually as good as their numbers indicate. And for those of you guys that are struggling, so to speak, that play solo and that are trying to get to that next level, just keep at it, and sooner or later it's going to click with you, and it's going to end up working really well. And it's not all about having the best controller either. I mean, granted, if you learn how to use that controller very well, it'll make the difference, as you guys may or may not see in my gameplay. And I haven't even shown you some of the really amazing stuff that I've been able to do since I got this Elite controller. But the thing is, it's not always about having great equipment. I just literally got a monitor and the controller like a few weeks ago, and I've been playing really well before that. But the only difference is it's basically allowed me to expand on what I was able to do in the first place. Granted that I use the controller correctly and learn what works really well for me. So, because in the beginning with the controller I was struggling. But going back on topic here, KD does not equal skill most of the time, vast majority of the time actually, and stats are just stats. And in my opinion, stats are just obviously there just because mostly that people want them. And the thing is, you know, the people out there that play for stats, which in my opinion is ridiculous. But the thing is, you have fun, be different, be confident. The best players out there are the ones that are confident regardless of what the situation is. They step up to it, they see a full team, they don't care, they go right on into it, and they just tackle the situation. And if you lose, hey, at least you go losing, you know, the legitimate way to lose. You lose like a man or a woman, so to speak, because I know there's female gamers out there that are absolutely amazing. But the thing is, stats mean absolutely nothing. Do not let them intimidate you. Stay in the lobby, and if you win, it's just that much more satisfying, and especially if it's challenging, because that is the way to get better. Challenge yourself, be different, get out there, and just have fun and have at it. So anyway, guys, that's all I have to say for this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope you found the video entertaining. If you liked the video, let me know, and if you don't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better. Catch you later.